Hello. So this is the final recording for the Building Your Future assignment. Um, so why do ethics matter in healthcare? So ethics matter in healthcare because it's important for workers to recognize healthcare dilemmas. Ethicals matter so that healthcare workers can make good judgments and decisions based on their values while working with the patient. So it's important for healthcare workers to put their own personal beliefs aside, to think about what they're doing, to think about whether they're doing is right or wrong, and whether what they're doing is the best course of action for that patient. It's also important to look out for other patients, not just their own. Look at what other healthcare workers are doing and recognize if what they're doing for their patient is good, if it's not good. And so it's just important so they can look out for these dilemmas. What role do ethics play in my current career or in the future career? So my current career is just so I can see like the right and wrong. So when I work with individuals with disabilities, I can see, is it ethical of me to say, we're going to go into this store, or let them choose on whether if they want to go wherever they want. Of course, I know for a fact that it's only right to allow the client to choose. This is their life we're working on. These are their goals we're working with. And so ethics play a huge role to identify what is right, what is wrong, to identify, what, it's time for me to put my personal beliefs aside. This is about my clients, this is about my future patients. And it is not for me to judge, but for them to make the decision of what is right for them. It's important for me to recognize with other clients to make a decision if they're being treated well. If they're not being treated well, makes myself a reporter if something's not going well, if something's just not following the rules. I make the ethical decision of, is something bad enough that I must report it, or is it something that I could ignore, which I really don't ever feel like ignoring anything. If I see something that's possibly wrong, I might follow it up with my coworker or my supervisor and make sure everyone's aware of the situation and whether or not it really is a situation. Has my personal statement changed over the course of the class? It has a little. My personal statement mainly viewed about patient care and making sure the patient is getting the best proper care possible, being treated as good as possible. But now my mindset has just shifted a little to not only viewing the patients, but if I were to be like a healthcare administrator, but viewing the employees, making sure they're being treated fairly, they're being treated ethically, that not only but they're not being ethical to only to each other, but towards their patients. And so it just shifted to where it's not just ethics over a patient, which is also very important, but being ethical towards other employees, other coworkers as well. What other ways has your mindset changed about this semester? It's kind of the same, my mindset when it came to ethics. I've had ethic courses in the past, and it's always been, when you treat a patient, is it ethical to go against their personal beliefs, providing care that they don't believe in? Or is it more ethical to watch them slowly get worse and digress just because they don't believe a blood transfusion, but instead, like I mentioned earlier, using the ethics to be a healthcare manager So like viewing the employees when something goes wrong, make sure we're looking at everything that happened, we're getting the full detail, deciding the correct and most ethical course of action when looking at these dilemmas, when deciding a punishment, so to say, and taking a course of action and deciding on what to do about the situation.